tell you a story about a boy that lives in the Andaman Islands. And this was Kumar's story. Kumar was 12 years old, and Kumar lived with his grandfather. Now, his grandfather, he was a man with a disability and he couldn't walk. And so Kumar was the legs for grandfather. And Kumar had awakened and had walked down the beach to buy some bread for his grandfather for breakfast. And as he was walking back home along the beach, he heard a terrible roar, and he looked out and he saw this huge wave coming toward him. The tsunami hit about 6:30 in the morning, and Mennonite Central Committee sent me to do some work with community trauma healing. This is what Kumar said to me. He said, I knew I had to get back to grandfather because my job was to take care of him. But just before I got to my house, this huge wave came and knocked me over and pulled me out into the ocean and started moving me around and around. But I knew I had to find my grandpa. And then he started crying. And he said, I am a bad, bad boy. I was supposed to take care of Grandpa. I did the best I could do. I did some art therapy with him. I did some movement, body work with him. I talked to him, and I tried to relieve him of his sense of responsibility and failure in this story. But a few days later, when I came back to the camp, he saw me and he came running up to me again. And he wanted to tell me that story again. And people who have had a traumatizing experience often have frozen into their brain, seared into their brain, the exact image or the exact story that they will tell you then and can tell you over and over and over for many, many years. That's part of the nature of trauma and the brain. He told me the same story in almost exactly the same words. The next week when I came out, he again found me, and he had this great need to tell me his story. And he told me exactly the same story. But when he got to the part where he said, and I was in the water, and I thought I was going to die, but I kept looking for my grandfather, I stopped him before he could tell me the rest of the story. And I said, Kumar, you are an amazing boy. I can't believe that when you were afraid for your own life, when you very well could have died, you were thinking of somebody else. I said, you are an amazing boy. And Kumar looked at me like he didn't quite know what to say or what to think. And he just got a little smile and walked away. A few weeks later, I came out to the camp with an Indian friend of mine. And so we found Kumar, or actually Kumar found us. And I said, Kumar, would you tell her your story? Would you tell her what happened the morning of the tsunami? And so he told his story exactly the same way, except when he got to that one part, instead of saying, I am a very, very bad boy, he gets to that part and he stops. And with a smile on his face, he looks at my friend and he said, And even though I thought I was going to die, I was trying to find my grandpa. I have to ask myself, how different will Kumar's life be? Carrying that very terrifying story in his heart and in his brain, believing that he failed and that he failed his grandfather and that he's a bad boy. Or now having transformed that story into a way that he realizes that in that horrifying situation, he did something very courageous and very brave. And even though his grandfather was never seen again, Kumar did the best he could do. And I think about his village. How much different would it be to live in a village where the children who went through that experience of the tsunami believe that they or other people did courageous, brave things in the face of that terrifying disaster, as opposed to growing up feeling helpless and feeling like there was nothing anyone did and they were just helpless victims. That is the power that we have as listeners to help each other transform our stories. I'd like you to spend some time, and this will be hard work, I'm going to warn you, but I'd like you to spend some quiet personal time now trying to get in touch with and identify your inner story that may be very powerful, even though it may be still unconscious in your life.